Scanning. Identity confirmed. Signal acquired. Initiating transmission. Stand by. Contacting Imperial High Counsel. Initiating Project Storytime.
Greetings, members of the Imperial High Council. I apologize if I sound off. I am recovering from something these humans call a cold. Anyway, today we are going to be looking at an animated movie. The story of Moses and the Exodus is perhaps one of the best known stories in the entire Bible. And we're going to look at one of its film adaptations. And I am of course referring to Dingo Pictures. Yep. Dingo Pictures was a German animation film studio that had gained a bit of a cult following for producing the worst animated movies that somehow got distribution. They specialized in making extremely cheap knockoffs of popular Disney films, DreamWorks, Don Bluth. This is The Prince of Egypt. No, not that one. That one. Nothing like that top quality animation. I can say in all honesty, I've never seen animation quite like that before. I mean, seriously, I've seen better animation from early 90s FMV games. Why is a snake narrating this story? What? When the pyramids were being built, most of mankind was out of the Stone Age and were able to make metal tools by that point. Wow. Really puts you in the moment, huh? Dude, what is wrong with your misshapen head? Yeah, I'd agree that their moves are a little stiff. They might need some better training, more rehearsals, and some new animation cycles. Dingo, is this how people look to you? Is it really? This guy's nose is bigger than his feet. His neck is longer than his legs. Come on, guys. The monkey is one of your best agents. Maybe they're using the NIV translation and it's different from my ESV one or something, but my copy of the Bible does not mention any monkey spies in the story of Moses. Oh, yeah, great strategy. Overwork your slaves that already don't have enough food so that they'll be even weaker when doing all the labor that you want them to be doing. Oh, slavery meant hard work, did it? Thanks for telling me that. This is hard work? A fat kid playing with a crocodile? Also, the kid isn't even moving. How is he bouncing the ball around? He has a point. Fat slaves aren't going to be that useful if just standing up is going to be an issue. Wow, he seems in pretty good spirits considering a crocodile just bit him in the leg. I hate to break it to you, buddy. If you're in slavery, then they kinda do. By definition, a slave is property, so yes, they can treat you however they want. This is why, and I might be controversial in saying this, I think slavery is bad. I don't recall Aaron talking to a crocodile in the scriptures. So the monkey spy talks to the lackey about the one fat kid slave being a brat. Yes, really. Dude, what is wrong with your head? So, because one kid was a jerk to the Pharaoh's advisor, he comes up with the most sensible solution. Kill all the children! Yes, really. Oh, so not like in the Bible story where it was just the sons of the Israelites who were killed. And it wasn't because one kid was being a brat, but because the growing number of slaves that the Pharaoh had feared their numbers and were going to be overthrown. So, sometime later, apparently, Aaron now has a baby brother, and I guess Aaron is the brains of the outfit since the adults are listening to the kid who caused the problems with the Pharaoh's advisor in the first place. Wait, the baby is already named Moses? In the Bible story, it was the Egyptian woman who named him Moses, which means drawn from water. He wouldn't have been named that before being placed in the Nile. They are seriously asking a crocodile to guard their baby that they're placing in the water. That just sounds like a great idea. In the scriptures, it was his older sister Miriam that kept watch over the baby and reported back to their mom when he was taken to the palace. If you can't trust the word of a man-eating lizard, who can you trust? So, Ben, the crocodile, follows Moses into the river that keep watch over the baby. What the hell did I just read? A Dalmatian in ancient Egypt. The Dalmatian didn't become a breed until around the 1300s. They weren't in Egypt.
Western waxation at West.
Well, that's a sentence I didn't expect to hear today. Hi, random giraffe. I seriously didn't edit that. That's how it is in the movie. So the Pharaoh's daughter takes young Moses and he's raised in the palace. Oh, for the love of... We're already 10 minutes into this 30-minute movie and our hero still needs a wet nurse. Is that bird wearing shorts? So we finally get an adult Moses in the scene. Meet new Pharaoh, same as the old Pharaoh. Aaron, do you remember what happened the last time you provoked Egyptian leadership? You got thousands of babies killed. Shouldn't that weigh on your mind, like, at all? Then Moses leaves because his mommy scolds him for picking fights with the slaves. Such natural dialogue, isn't it? This shocks the monkey spy, and he goes to break Moses' cover. This results in Moses fleeing before he can be executed. In the classic Bible story, this was never an issue. The Pharaoh was fully aware that his daughter found the baby in the river. Moses fled into the wilderness because he killed an Egyptian that was beating up one of the slaves. When Pharaoh heard that his adopted grandson killed an Egyptian, he was angry, and that is when Moses fled. I don't remember what the monkey spy said about any of that. Yes, clearly. His feet could no longer carry him. Anyway, Moses just finds the burning bush. I guess him meeting Zipporah, marrying her, having a son are just not worth mentioning, huh, movie? Why? Just why? This is the only version of this story that I have ever seen that has shown God talking instead of him talking through the visuals of the burning bush. There's kind of a reason for that. No artistic interpretation of God can capture something that is beyond human understanding, and that should be kept in mind if this is the best of your character designs. What does God need with a lumpy head? So God, I guess, tells Moses that he's one of the Israelites. That's a good question. Robert Zadar tells Moses to throw his staff, which he wasn't carrying, on the ground and it turns into a snake. That is what happens in the Bible, but it sounds cooler than, well, this. Well, yeah, the lumpy-headed god gives him magic powers and tells him to lead a rebellion against his former home. So Moses meets up with Aaron and the Israelites, and things are tense, at least in terms of this show. Why? Your voices sound nearly identical. As Moses explains to everyone about God's plan for leading them out of Egypt, I think the crocodile's having an existential crisis. Moses reuses the terrible snake transition animation to convince the people that he does have the backing of God and to follow him. So Moses and Aaron go before Pharaoh and demand to be let freed. When that doesn't work, Moses does the snake thing again. Seriously, that's the third time in 3 minutes. Pharaoh is unimpressed. He just doesn't care that he sees a stick turn into a creature before his eyes for seemingly no reason. In the Bible, Pharaoh wasn't impressed by the transformation because his own court magicians could do the same trick. However, Aaron's staff that turned into a snake ate the other magician's snakes, which symbolically illustrates that God was more powerful. Dingo, try to edit out obvious chair noises. The Israelite people are yelling at Moses for getting them more work, so Moses goes out to the wilderness again to talk to the burning bush. The god of deformities talks to Moses, tells him to go back to Pharaoh, and if he still refuses, he'll send in rats. So, we're going with rats, huh? Okay, 1, rats weren't one of the 12 plagues of Egypt, and 2, I'm guessing we're just gonna overlook turning water into blood, frogs, gnats, flies, death of livestock, boils, hail, and the rats seem to be replacing the locusts, since they're talking about them doing pretty much the same thing. Moses then does this. Why are the rats making cricket sounds? Dingo, you hurt my head. Anyway, the Pharaoh demands his magicians get rid of the rats, but they are powerless, so Pharaoh agrees to let them leave. Shockingly, they do something that's in the Bible story. The Pharaoh goes back on his word. So Moses and Aaron meet with Pharaoh again, and this time Moses says, I didn't edit that, by the way. That's how it is in the movie. Okay, for starters, God didn't kill all the children, just the firstborn. Still not great, but it wasn't every single child in Egypt. Secondly, they kinda glossed over the whole Passover thing, where lamb's blood is painted on the doors so that God's Spirit would pass over that house and not kill anyone. The Passover Seder is a major Jewish tradition and is still practiced to this very day. It's a bit more important to the story than a soccer-playing crocodile or monkey spies. Anyway, Pharaoh lets them go without the loss of life, so no need for your ancient traditions, Jewish people. Thanks, Dingo! The Israelites are packing up for the trip, and Aaron's brat wants to bring the crocodile with him, but it's pointed out that it's a desert, and he'll kind of die from the lack of water. What is happening? And so begins the Exodus. I hear you, Hippo. Back in the throne room, these morons finally realize that the guy that they raised since he was a baby was Moses. You think they would have recognized him, but whatever. They now think that it was all a trick for kicking him out, so Pharaoh sends his army to go capture them again. With the army closing in on him, the lumpy-headed god tells Moses to go to the Red Sea. And now, for what is one of the most famous moments from this story, the parting of the Red Sea. A moment so epic that it can't but help to impress. And... oh, it looks like someone found the secret passage in their mid-90s RPG game. The Israelites start making it across, but the Egyptian army isn't far. In fact, listen to the music. It's really tense. With everyone safely across, Moses closes the path and the people are free. And we get this! We end on just nonsense. Huh? As I previously stated, Passover was for God going through the land of Egypt and putting to death the firstborn of every house, unless it was marked with lamb's blood. Easter has almost nothing to do with it outside of the fact that that's what was being celebrated by Jesus and the disciples the night of the Last Supper. Anyway, that was a Dingo Pictures movie. What did you guys like most? The animation, the writing, the character models, the sound editing, the music, the voice acting? I know! There's almost no start to their talents. Computer, save file, and end transmission.
Affirmative. Processing. Terminating. Transmission. Ending. Communication.